Alan from Sky. Cameraman ready? Yeah. Cameraman's going. Alan, you can go when you need.
Okay, thanks very much, Thomas. Great to see you. Thanks as always for your time. It's been a great start to your Premier League season and your Cup season as well, of course. You certainly look like you're enjoying it all the time. How much are you looking forward to this one on Saturday now?
Hi, Alan. Good to see you. Of course, very, very much. We have had a good start to Premier League. We know it is the biggest and the most difficult league to play in the world, and we have performed well in 5 games. So it's all about trying to hit that performance again on Saturday. And of course, we're all enjoying it. We are looking forward to a game. We are looking forward to by far the biggest test this season so far. It's one of the best teams in the world. It's one of the biggest clubs in the world. And I think the last 3 years, with this season, maybe also the year before, they've played some of the best football. The most entertaining, forward thinking, pressing, running, attacking from every angle. Very, very impressive what they have done there, what Klopp have done with his staff and the players.
So, having said all that, your biggest test yet, do you put a measure on where you are, or maybe where you're at when you come up against sides like Liverpool, or do you reflect on that afterwards?
I think more afterwards, because what we say and talk a lot about is the next game. Massive focus on Oldham Tuesday night, then massive focus on Liverpool, and then we see, and then hopefully we can win as many games as possible. So, of course, we're going into this game with a belief that we can win. We know it's going to be unbelievable difficult. Putting that aside, then of course I'm also analyzing the league, and I also know that the top 4 teams, which are the 2 Manchester sides, Liverpool and Chelsea, they are, I think, quite a bit ahead of everyone else. So these are not the teams we need to compete against. These are the potentially coming Champions League winners. So, but can we get a result? Yes, I think. But over 38 games, impossible to be higher than them. Then there's this law of money that we need to have a few more quid to compete against Liverpool over time.
Do you prepare any differently for these sort of games, or is it exactly the same as normal for any Premier League game?
Exactly the same. Exactly the same as any. Of course, I think actually what is so impressive with Liverpool is that I think they are an attacking threat from so many areas. So when you're facing some teams, maybe it's mostly crosses or mostly counter-attack or, whatever. But against Liverpool, they're fantastic at crossing. They're fantastic at combining through the middle. They're fantastic at counter-attacking high and deep. They're really, really good at offensive set pieces. So just every angle they hit you, they can hit you. But of course, we narrow it down and we find the most important things that we think we need to be able to match and hopefully find not a weakness. They have no weakness, but maybe a door that are 2 inch open, and then hopefully we can put a foot in.
So the preparation is the same. What about a sense of excitement from the players? Do you get that in the build up to this game during training this week?
Yeah, I think of course there's a bit of, I think excitement, I think is the right word. Because some have asked me if this is the biggest game I faced, and I would say no, and a lot of games have been more important than this. Even on the 12th game in Frederiksværk back in Denmark, because those games were more important for me in that moment in time. This game is an important game, but it's not a playoff final or another. It's a big game, and we're excited about testing ourselves against, a top team in Europe.
Yeah, as you say, it's not going to define your season. So your fans are loving it too. So what can you ask of them, if anything, in terms of a difference that they can make on Saturday evening?
A couple of things. First, I will ask them to be unbelievable proud and enjoy the moment Saturday night, because it's something some Brentford fans have, we heard the story about the Brentford fan that actually were alive, 74 years ago, but some Brentford fans have, lived through their whole life with a lot of misery. And now we're finally there on the big stage in the biggest circus in the world. So I really hope they will enjoy the moment. And we are singing our Beatles song that we stole from Liverpool, and now Liverpool are coming to the bus stop in Hounslow. And so now I hope they're proud, and I hope they are really enjoy the moment. But there's a big, always a but. If they want us to make a result, they need to unbelievably perform again like they did. They need to overmatch the performance they did against Arsenal. Because against Arsenal, they were from a different universe. And that's what we need from the fans on Saturday. If they do that, I promise that we give everything out there on the grass, and then we're going to have an exciting evening, hopefully. You never know what's going to happen.
Just in terms of your team and the way it's going to shape up, you've got 10 players who've started every league game this season. So we're not expecting big changes, are we, on Saturday, despite players that might be pressing for a starting place?
You can't say anything to Klopp, okay? Because I think he never gets it. But no, I think you're right. There'll be 10 of the same starters, and I just need to flip a coin and find the last one.
What about Marcus Forss? He must have impressed you and be pressing his own claims.
Very much. So pleased for him. I'm so delighted that he got his 4 goals, and on top of that, a good performance. Kept pressing, kept working, good link-up play. He works so hard every day. He's a young player that, I think a year ago, maybe a little more, really, found his way into be a pro. One of the first players in, doing all his preparation and his gym before training. And it's bits like that, you as a coach, you notice, you know what? This young man, he will have a very, very fine career. Then, never know what's going to happen. And the coach still needs to be clever enough to play and all that to give him his chance and so on. But he got a bright future ahead of him.
It's hard to get ahead of Ivan Toney, though, isn't it?
Yeah. I think Ivan have done fantastic so far, and hopefully he can do it again on Saturday.
Thanks very much. Just finally from me, just a quick word. I don't know whether you're a boxing fan, but we've got a big fight on Sky Sports at the weekend with Anthony Joshua. Do you watch any of the boxing?
Not too much. I think,
No.
to be fair, I watched Mike Tyson back in the days. That was it. I know about Muhammad Ali. That's it, unfortunately.
We'll leave this one alone. I'm sure some of your players might be watching on Saturday.
I know who Joshua is, and I hope he wins.
Well, I wish you the best of luck for the weekend. Thanks for your time. Thanks very much.
Yeah, thank you, Alan.
Becky from PLP will have next, please.
Hi, Thomas.
Hi, Becky. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm good. Good afternoon. And look, I just wanted to start. I wanted to gauge where your pressure gauge was at with this game, because on the whole, a newly promoted side, not necessarily expected to get anything from Liverpool. So in a way, is the pressure off to allow your players to go and play with the freedom that they need? Or is it a case of the pressure is on because they have to do everything perfectly to get a result against a team like Liverpool?
I think it's that fine, definitely the pressure is off, you can't compare, it's a different mentality. So for example, in the playoff final, massive pressure. This game, not pressure to win, but there could also be that, could we get exposed, do we have too big a respect, all that. So still to find the right balance and the right arousal level. And that's part of them to find that, and me to hopefully find the right way into them. But we have I would say a balanced squad that confident but humble. I constantly talk about that attitude, confident but humble. So we'll go into this game with fire in our eyes and a big smile in our face, and play, attack. probably defend a lot as well in that game. So yeah, we're just looking forward to the challenge.
I wanted to ask about Sergi Canos as well, ex-Liverpool, coming up against his old team. Has he mentioned anything this week about this game in terms of how he feels about playing? Does he feel like he might have a small point to prove in this game?
Good question. I need to ask him about it. Personally, I haven't spoken with him about it. Maybe some of the other staff members have. So maybe I'll ask him tomorrow. I think it's 8 years ago he came there as an academy player and left a few years later. I don't know. Maybe I'll ask him. I think for him, for Sergi to play in the Premier League, of course, against Liverpool is a big thing. But yeah, I hope he just enjoys the moment.
And just a final one for me, just about cup runs this season. How much value are you going to place in those cup runs? Are they important? And where do they rank in terms of where you're at right now as a club?
I say, of course, if you want a black and white answer between if we wanted to win a Premier League game or win a cup game, it's always the Premier League game, of course. But it's never black and white. And I think it's about keeping momentum, keep winning, keep performing well, and we want to go as far as possible in the cup, and that hasn't changed.
Lovely, Thomas. Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you. Welcome.
Ian Abrams next. TalkSport.
Hi Thomas, how are you?
Hi Ian, I'm fine. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Is this a free hit for you? Is it, in terms of if you lose, you lose. If you win, you can go and have your 24 hours of red wine.
If we win against Liverpool, maybe I get 25. Maybe I'll find out. No free hit. Is there anything as a free hit? But we're getting close to it. Of course, no one expects us to do anything. It most likely, I don't know how much bigger the budget is. But it's not this game where we how can you say it's going to get our points, but in the end you never know. If you want to end as high as possible, then every point counts, and we are going out there tomorrow to do everything we can to get the 3 points. It's more likely that they win 3-0 than we win 1-0, but we have a chance to win 1-0 or to win the game, and that's the chance we're going for.
You beat Arsenal already this season, so why not beat Liverpool?
Yeah, I agree. I know it's football. I think everything is possible, and I know we are difficult to play against. And also, I hope we can make it very difficult for Liverpool on Saturday. So I massively believe in it. But we are talking about it. One of the contenders for the title and for the Champions League.
As a kid at home, when you were watching English football, I guess more often than not, you probably would have seen Liverpool. Were they an influence on you growing up as a kid, liking football? What players do you remember in particular that you thought, wow, I want to be him?
Yeah, I don't know if I remember I want to be him, but I follow Liverpool in the 80s. And I think maybe, most likely, I think because the Danish player, Jan Mølby, because he played there, so you followed a Danish player. So I watched them, and they were, of course, good. And I remember I watched them quite a lot. And Ian Rush, of course, was a fantastic player back then. So those were the two main players I remember from back when. And Jan, he could control that middle of the pitch, but mainly the middle of the pitch. But he controlled that.
Yeah, and even developed the Scouse accent, Liverpool accent, didn't he?
Yeah, very impressive, yeah.
You've already mentioned about how you run out to Hey Jude. Is that your favourite Beatles song, by the way?
Just a secret. I'm a head coach of Brentford, so I have to say yes. Yes, it is.
If you weren't the head coach of Brentford, what was your favourite Beatles song?
No,
it's probably a bit unfair.
Yeah, let me come back to that one.
Okay. You've obviously had a great start. Norwich are bottom without a point. Watford have got a couple of wins. But why do you think your start has been so much more impressive than the two teams who finished above you last season and went up a month before you did?
I think it's also a little bit the program. As far as I know, then Norwich faced, Liverpool and City. I think Leicester and Arsenal, and then Watford. So it's been a very, very tough start for them. I don't know exactly. I think Watford they have 6 points, something like that. So they're not far off it. And I'm not looking too much at them. I'm more looking at ourselves and what we can do and what we can develop and improve. I think that's the most important thing. What I can say about us is that we have, very consistent in our performances, very aggressive in the way we play and in the pressure and the defensive side of the game, and we just constantly try to develop.
My final question, I spoke today to the administrators at Derby County. I spoke today to the manager of Queen's Park Rangers. And the one thing I kind of get is that clubs in the Championship get into trouble in terms of financially because they chase the dream of getting into the Premier League. Brentford have chased the dream of getting into the Premier League, but the really precise and different model you have meant that you were never going to get into financial trouble. Do you think you should be the model for teams that want to get promoted rather than throw loads of money at it? It's just see how Brentford have done it, buying players cheap, selling them at a profit and building from, and obviously having a great head coach.
Especially the last bit, of course. The model, of course, is, I think that is good, but I also think it's easier said than done because you need, in all those years, you need a cool mindset and don't get stressed and emotional when it's not going the way you want it. Then not, just starting to buy players. Don't panic. Like when we, or when I didn't have the best start and we were turning the corner in January, did we need to buy players to make sure we didn't get relegated because we were just a little bit down there? No, we were calm. We knew that the squad was good enough. We could even sell our potentially best centre-back in Chris Meppen. So I think there's a lot of things, going on behind the scenes. There's so many decisions and calm decisions that you need to take. And a big thing also is, of course, not to waste too much money on too high salary or the wrong players. And that's a big thing. So never get carried away. And that's where I admire Matthew massively and Phil Giles and Rasmus Angersen. The three of them, they have done unbelievably.
We could go through the strikers, but they've been done before. But, Ethan Pinnock, you mentioned there Chris Meppen. You sell Chris Meppen, you buy in Ethan Pinnock for a small fee, and now he's worth an absolute fortune. The same with Josh De Silva and Christian Norgaard. Nobody knew who Christian was till he arrived at Brentford. And again, you've now turned him into an international player and someone highly sought after. So it's not just up front, it's throughout the whole of the team that this model as well, we call it a Moneyball model. I know it isn't exactly that, but it's worked throughout the whole team for you, hasn't it?
As I think, there's so many things influence this. Is the clear strategy. So the players we want to find, so a lot of things, we want to have a defined style of play. Then we want to have some position-specific description of each position. Then we try to find players from, numbers, but also from visually looking at them. And then we see if they fit in. And then we don't want to buy them too expensive, which is also tricky because, good players, they cost money. And then you need to find the hidden gems. And there's not that anything is not hidden anymore. And then you need to work with them. And then you need to have a fantastic staff that are devoted into developing people and players, and you need to be consistent day in, day out. It is unbelievably difficult. And I know we are in a situation where it looks fantastic, but it's been a lot of hard working hours.
Listen, good luck against Liverpool. Take care.
Thank you very much.
Phil Curry, please. Big to London.
Hey, Thomas. Good afternoon to you. Can I take you back to Sergi, please? How important is he on the pitch, in the squad, and actually to the club?
Hi, Phil. Good to see you. I think he's grown into be actually exactly what you just described there, an important person, an important person for the culture. He understands the club, the style of play, the things we want, and he also matured massively as a person over the last 4.5 years. And because of that, all those bits you need to get changed or keep the level or the standards, and he is part of pushing that every day.
And of course, obviously, he didn't get his chance really at Liverpool. I think he played about 3 minutes, didn't he, in the top flight? But he's got his chance with Brentford, a club that he obviously feels. He scored the first ever Premiership goal for Liverpool. Was that emotional for him, but also for everyone else?
I said to him actually, I clearly remember it after the game that I was so pleased that it was him that scored it. He deserved that, all the hard work he puts into it. And then after the big injury with the ACL, and then he experienced that moment of explosive emotions in your body when you score the opening goal in the new stadium in the Premier League against Arsenal. That's fantastic. So it was like destiny in a way.
I think you're like Jurgen Klopp in many respects. You get it. You understand your club. You understand what it means. You talk about the culture. How important is that, do you think, to if you want sustained success at a club, to really have that cultural understanding of where you are, what the club is, and what you want to do with a club?
I think if you want to succeed, you need to have a clear strategy, be aligned, and a clear culture, strong culture. But if I should only pick one of them, always will pick the culture. Culture eats strategy for breakfast. So if your culture is unbelievable strong, which I think ours are this moment in time, it can also change, weeks, months, if you're not on top of everything every single day. And I believe strongly in our togetherness, good people, constantly staffed players that not only think about themselves and their role, but they think about others and care about others. I think that's key. And you need still to reinforce that in the way you lead every single day. I believe in hard work as a value, another value we have. I believe in a performance every single day. And then I believe in the last bit, I constantly speak about attitude, confident but humble. And I think those are the pillars we are standing on right now.
How close is Christian Norgaard to Jan Molby as a type of player?
That's a good question. I think I need to go home to double check some of my YouTube videos on Jan. To be fair to Jan Molby, I think he at his peak was one of the best players in the midfield in Europe. I don't think Christian is there yet. I think Christian is, I know he's 27, but I think he's a late bloomer. And I'm very, very pleased that he's playing for Brentford, because I think if you took him out of our team, put him into Liverpool and change the two players, Fabinho and him, I don't think you see much difference.
Just finally, the League Cup draw threw you up with Stoke away. I know you've said that you want to go as far as you possibly can, further than last year in this competition. What did you make of the draw?
I think tricky. Stoke is a good side. I think they are I know they're on top of the championship. They develop. They know what they want. They have a very experienced manager. And playing away is also always tricky. It's better than Liverpool away, but it'll be tough. But yeah, as I mentioned, I want to do everything we can to get to the next round.
Brilliant. Thank you for your time this afternoon. Best of luck on Saturday.
Thank you, Phil. Thank you.
Look from Haters next, please.
Hi, Thomas. Thanks for your time. Can I just check if you've got any new injuries? But then also, just on Ivan Toney, I saw Christian Norgaard say, you know, guys in the dressing room were likening him to Didier Drogba, and I'm sure that was probably slightly light-hearted, but it just underlines how well he's been playing. And I also saw, you know, his post-match interviews. He seems so relaxed but so confident, and like you're saying, confident but humble. That's how he was coming across. Can you just sort of explain a little bit about his mindset and attitude, which I guess must have been key to his development and being able to handle, you know, the challenge of the Premier League that he seems to be doing so well with so far? If that's okay, please.
Nick, no injuries. Yeah, everyone fit and available. I think it's a very good description of Ivan, and I think we are all shaped of the way we either brought up and the different challenges we have faced in life, and I'm not in doubt of that. His parents have helped him massively through his life. 100% sure they've made a fantastic young man, because he's still a young man when he's 25 years old, with all the right values. On top of that, he faced a lot of, you know, setbacks in his career. And I think those setbacks, that's where you get tested on your resilience. And he is very resilient, and he is, you know, got that top mentality and belief. And then he's coming into our club, and Ivan is very intelligent because he's reflecting, and he, you know, deserves a lot of praise himself. But also come into a well-run club and team that is easier to step into, with a staff that want to do everything for him, some teammates that want to do everything for him and help him. And then he listens to all the small bits and add extra layers to his development and performance. And that I think, if you want to be a top player, you need to work hard, you need to reflect and constantly want to learn. And then, of course, you need to have that confidence that he got so naturally, because he's coming across fantastically, humble, calm, but, you know, with a mindset of a lion.
And just what do you think there are any limits for his you know, his potential? I know obviously you probably don't want to set any on it, but I mean, I guess what I'm getting is, you know, how good can he be? Because potential seems massive at the moment.
Yeah. I think for every personal player, the sky is the limit, and then we will see in the future where they went. First, I just want to enjoy Ivan here in my team and see him grow and be as good as possible. Then we'll see what's happening in the future.
Brilliant. Thanks very much for your time, and good luck for the weekend.
Yeah, thank you, Nick.
Paul Joyce from the Times, please.
Hi, Thomas. It's just a quick one on Sergi Canos again. I was just wondering what it said about his mentality, that he's made his way back to the Premier League with Brentford, having made his debut there with Liverpool as a teenager. Can you give us an insight into his mindset and his character, please?
Hi, Paul. I think, again, the pathway to success, Premier League in this case, is so different for a lot of players. And there's a lot of players that, you know, that need to take a different route to get there. And Sergi is some of them. When you have to do that, you need to show that resilience, you need to be strong in certain moments, but also you need some help along the way. Either from your family, parents, friends, or a certain coach or a physio, or, you know, that help you along the way. But I would say that Sergi's mentality is very strong. Always played with a top passion, but also played with a real joy just for the game, which I really like. And then in this, I would say, I think one of the crucial moments was where he was, you know, starting to be a really important player for us, and then he got that big injury, and how he actually, you know, managed to come back from that. That is not easy. That's very impressive.
Thanks very much. Thank you.
You're welcome.